given that on the second interview, but at this point, we prefer it's confidential for now. Because the client doesn't want a lot of people calling, you know, because that's what candidates do. Okay? Sometimes the client plans to hire because he's going to be terminating somebody and he doesn't really want that getting out. You with me? Okay, so the campaign number, that'll be on the overview sheet. The date of expiration, that'll be on the overview sheet. The I-form required, that's also on the overview sheet. The number of interviews required, see the overview sheet. The hiring batch number, you write in batch 1, 2, 3, 4, we're representing each week. You're only going to be given 4 batches in a month. If the month has expired and there's still time, you've got to hold it to the next month. We only do 4, never 5, because we track the batches. Okay? Alright, that takes care of certain codes. Definition. In the case of an HR, each job title, there may be bespoke or niche qualifications the candidate should have. For an HR executive, for example, it would be a CIPD qualification, well respected. And so what we will always do for you is put the qualification and a link so you can look it up. It's not really good for you to be doing an interview asking a question on the H card and you know nothing about it. Are you with me? Yes. So you need to kind of use the links and study a little bit. Not much. There's no CIPD means Certified Institute of Personal Development or whatever that is, that stands for. Okay? Alright. H card scorings. Please use the following methods of rating observable factors as follows. The dress code of the candidate. We need to know how he dressed for the interview. It tells us about him. How well he appreciated it. Hey, listen, you're going to get married, you're going to dress up really good. Are you with me? I mean, you're not going to come in there with unshine shoes. I mean, you may forget your wedding ring, you ought to go back and get it, but your shoes are going to be shiny, your suit's going to be top notch. So you rate it. 7 to 10 is always our best score. It's good to exceptional. Acceptable 5 to 6. Poor is always 1 to 4. His CV quality. Looking at the CV, it should be without corrections, any handwritten corrections. It should be without any markings. It should not be faded like he's copied it 100 times. All right? It should not be crimpled at all. It should not be torn and should only be about 2 pages. Even if my CV can be a whole book, I never go to a job. I mean, I leave out a whole ton of generations. I mean, there are big chunks that just dropped off. However, it's always 2 pages. Nobody wants to read a 6-page CV. A candidate, that's poor CV quality. It has the essentials, but nobody wants to know what you did in 1968. You know, how relevant is that? Does that year ever exist? Therefore, okay? Now, what we have done in this case, and we will continue to do, you see what a good CV looks like? We've given you a link. You can read up on a good CV. It's important because you'll be looking at CVs from this day forward almost every day. Dress code. We already covered that. Let's do it twice. Communication. Did the candidate speak clearly with an acceptable standard of sound? Could you understand him clearly? Did he have clear speech with a poor standard of sound? It means a heavy accent. You've got to look at that. We need to know. I mean, we're not going to discriminate, obviously, for that. There's nothing, but we need to know. That comes down to the selection process. You're allowed to state that. That's 5 to 6. If the speech was poor and the sound was poor, it's 1 to 4. Eye contact. Was there adequate contact at the asterisk questions? There'll be 3 questions in each age card, and you have to look up at the candidate when he answers those questions, and you can generally tell if he's lying to you. So, whenever you see that, you ask and you look up for the answer. And you look for the twitching, you look for him to look away from you. If he's lying, he cannot look you in the eye, period. He's not that good. You know why? Because you didn't prepare him for the answer. You didn't tell him, right? You threw it at him. How's he going to know? He can't. He's not going to look at it. He's going to look away. And you have to make a judgment if the candidate's lying to you. Yeah, you have to. So let's look at that again. Adequate eye contact at the asterisk questions. If you got it, eyes did not flinch, that's a 7 to 10, guys. Tell the truth. If there's occasional eye contact at the questions, it's occasional, then it's 5 to 6. And if you avoid the eye contact altogether, it's 1 to 4. Energy level. The candidate energetic, come in bubbly. Is it average energy or low energy? Some people come in immediately, you got to take a sweet or some biscuit. Immediately. They can barely make it. Flat. We need to know that. Okay? Poison courtesy. Was the candidate calm, collective, and relaxed? That's 7 to 10. Was he nervous, slow to open up to you? You can tell when they're really nervous when they sit all hands folded. And you need to let us know that. Because that goes to the competency of the job. Okay? You can't take somebody, put them in sales if they have low energy. You with me? It's not going to work. The guy's out of gas. You got to put him on crack every day. Get him to do anything. That's costly, you know that. Okay. Let's go to, if he's restless and sweating a lot, that's 1 to 4. Those candidates always a problem, the sweating ones. Preparation. It means something's wrong with their health or something, you know. Always sweating. It's cold outside, guys, still sweating. Yeah, may be a problem. Some clients want to know that, you know. We can't put a client forward and he quits in a week or he gets fired in 2 weeks. Then we have to replace the client and do the process all over again. You follow what I'm saying to you? These are permanent roles. When a client pays us £3,000, he expects a candidate that's going to last for a while. We need to give him the best chance of that. Preparation. Did the candidate show up with more than the required documents? Research the company had personal copy of his CV. Some candidates will come and sit down with a file. You have the file with them to back up. So they expect, you've got their CV, they also have a copy of the same CV, ready to defend it. You will see them come in, sit down and put their file right there. They're prepared for the interview. And they have questions for you too. Some are like that. We want some of those. So if they've done that, it's 7 to 10. If they only had references, that's all, they didn't have any preparation, they had their references, it's a 5 to 6. If they failed to provide the references, came without the CV, that's absolutely a cue. He could never work with us if he does that. Facial appearance. Was the hair, there's only 2 categories. Okay? Was the hair grooming, fit for business, or was the facial appearance not quite warm? Or not fit? Just rate them, okay? You can look, the guy's got hairs all over the place. He's working in an office. Most of these jobs are office jobs. If it's a construction position, you can waive that. That's not an issue. But anyway, look at that, okay? We need to know. We're not going to discriminate based on that. But a client, you're allowed to observe things. You're not making any decisions. You're just reporting on what you've observed. Just make sure it's truthful. Because if somebody asks you, I'll say, hey, I didn't do the interview. I'll call you and say, you did an interview? Yeah, you remember? Yeah, that guy, yeah. Well, and then that's what we need.